The central processing unit, often referred to as the brain of the computer, is a critical hardware component responsible for executing instructions and performing calculations that drive the operation of a PC. The CPU is a microprocessor that performs the majority of processing tasks in a computer. It is a small, square chip located on the motherboard, often covered by a heatsink and fan to keep it cool. Modern CPUs contain billions of transistors that work together to process data. The CPU plays several key roles in the functioning of a PC. Executing instructions. The CPU carries out instructions from programs and the operating system. These instructions are part of the software that runs on the PC. For example, when you open a web browser, the CPU executes the instructions to load and display the browser. Performing calculations. The CPU performs arithmetic and logical operations required by programs. For example, when you use a calculator app, the CPU performs the math operations. Managing data flow. The CPU coordinates the flow of data between the computer's memory, storage, and other components. For example, when you save a file, the CPU ensures the data is written to the storage device. Controlling hardware. The CPU communicates with and controls other hardware components, such as the GPU, storage devices, and peripherals. For example, the CPU sends signals to the GPU to render graphics on the monitor. Running the operating system. The CPU executes the instructions of the OS, which manages hardware resources and provides a platform for running applications. For example, the CPU handles tasks like managing files, running background processes, and handling user input. The CPU operates through a series of steps known as the fetch-decode-execute cycle. First step is fetch. The CPU retrieves instructions from memory or cache. For example, the CPU fetches the next instruction for a program. Second step is decode. The CPU decodes the instruction into a form it can understand. For example, the CPU decodes an instruction to add two numbers. Third step is execute. The CPU performs the operation specified by the instruction. For example, the CPU adds the two numbers and stores the result. Fourth step is store. The CPU writes the result back to memory or registers, which are small storage areas within the CPU. For example, the CPU stores the sum of the two numbers in memory. Let's see what are the key components of a CPU. First component of a CPU are cores. Modern CPUs have multiple cores, each capable of executing instructions independently. For example, a quad-core CPU can handle 4 tasks simultaneously. Second component of a CPU are threads. Threads are sequences of instructions. Each core can handle multiple threads using technologies like hyperthreading. For example, a quad-core CPU with hyperthreading can handle 8 threads. Third component of a CPU is clock speed. The clock speed, measured in gigahertz, determines how many instructions the CPU can execute per second. For example, a CPU with a clock speed of 3.5 gigahertz can execute 3.5 billion cycles per second. Fourth component of a CPU is cache. The CPU has small, fast memory called cache to store frequently used data and instructions. For example, L1, L2, and L3 caches reduce the time needed to access data from RAM. Fifth component of a CPU are registers. Registers are small, high-speed storage areas within the CPU used to hold data and instructions during processing. For example, the CPU uses registers to store intermediate results of calculations. What are the factors affecting CPU performance? First factor is number of cores and threads. More cores and threads allow the CPU to handle more tasks simultaneously. Second factor is clock speed. Higher clock speeds enable faster processing. Third factor is cache size. Larger caches reduce the time needed to access data. Fourth factor is architecture. Newer CPU architectures improve efficiency and performance. Fifth factor is thermal design power, or TDP. Lower TDP means less heat generation and better power efficiency. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you liked the video. See you in the next video.